Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce our topic, automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM. On this first slide, you'll see the main title and the subtitle, which highlight our focus on standardizing user provisioning and security across complex cloud environments. Over the course of this presentation, we'll explore how automation and standards like SCIM can simplify identity management in multi-tenant setups, making them more secure and efficient. Let's dive in. Today, I want to introduce you to SCIM, or System for Cross-Domain Identity Management, and how it plays a crucial role in multi-tenant identity management. SCIM is an open standard that helps automate user and group provisioning across multiple platforms, making the management process much more streamlined. When we talk about managing identities in a multi-tenant environment, scalability and security are key. SCIM supports both by enabling efficient management of user accounts, even in complex scenarios involving multiple tenants. This means we can handle large-scale environments more effectively, reducing the risk of errors and security issues. One of the biggest advantages of SCIM is that it simplifies access control. Instead of manually managing permissions for each tenant, SCIM automates these processes, saving time and reducing administrative overhead. This is especially important in today's fast-paced digital landscape, where agility and security go hand in hand. SCIM also enables seamless identity lifecycle management. Whether users are onboarding, changing roles, or leaving, SCIM ensures these changes are reflected across all systems automatically. It works across diverse tenants within Microsoft 365 and Azure environments, providing a unified approach to identity management. Ultimately, SCIM helps organizations handle multi-tenant environments more efficiently by automating provisioning and deprovisioning, reducing manual effort, and enhancing security. It's a vital component for modern identity management strategies, especially when working across various platforms and services. Let's take a closer look at some of the key challenges we face in multi-domain identity management. These issues can lead to significant inefficiencies, increase compliance risks, and add to the overall operational complexity. One major challenge is the risk of unauthorized access. When offboarding employees or users isn't handled promptly and accurately, it leaves a window of opportunity for security breaches. Another problem is the lack of centralized control. Without a unified system, provisioning and deprovisioning users become delayed and inconsistent, which can cause security vulnerabilities. In addition, inconsistent attribute mapping and role assignments create security gaps. When attributes and roles aren't standardized across systems, it becomes easier for errors to slip through, potentially exposing sensitive data. Finally, manual processes are still prevalent, relying on spreadsheets, emails, and other manual methods. These approaches are error-prone and slow, making it difficult to keep up with the dynamic needs of modern organizations. All of these challenges highlight the importance of automating and streamlining identity management, which is exactly what we're aiming to achieve with standards like SCIM. Let's talk about the need for standardized protocols. As organizations grow and adopt multiple tenants, managing identities manually becomes increasingly complex and error-prone. This is where automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM, or System for Cross-Domain Identity Management, really makes a difference. Implementing SCIM helps streamline identity workflows, making processes more efficient. It also enhances security by reducing human errors and ensuring policies are consistently enforced. When we talk about the advantages of implementing SCIM, the key point is that having consistent standards improves our overall security posture. Automation plays a crucial role here because it ensures access adjustments happen promptly, aligned with user roles or project changes. This not only saves time, but also minimizes risks associated with delayed or incorrect access updates. Standard protocols like SCIM enable automated provisioning, creating accounts, and deprovisioning, removing access without manual intervention. This automation is vital because manual user lifecycle management becomes error-prone and simply unsustainable as your organization scales. In essence, relying on manual processes introduces challenges that can compromise security and efficiency. By adopting standardized protocols, we can address these challenges head-on, supporting a more secure, scalable, and compliant identity management system that aligns seamlessly with our overall digital transformation goals. Let's take a closer look at what SCIM is and why it matters. SCIM stands for System for Cross-Domain Identity Management. Essentially, it's an open standard framework designed to automate user and group management across various cloud services. By leveraging SCIM, organizations can significantly reduce manual tasks involved in managing identities. This not only boosts efficiency, but also enhances security by ensuring that user data is consistently updated and synchronized. One of the key benefits of SCIM is its ability to enable bidirectional data flow. That means it allows seamless communication between identity providers, or IDPs, and service providers, or SPs. This two-way data exchange ensures that any changes in user information are reflected across all platforms automatically, maintaining accuracy and reducing errors. SCIM also supports scalability, which is crucial as organizations grow or operate across multiple platforms and tenants. It's designed to handle large volumes of identity data without compromising performance. Additionally, SCIM uses REST-full APIs with JSON payloads, which makes it highly interoperable. This means it can easily integrate with different systems, regardless of their underlying technology, simplifying deployment and ongoing management. Finally, SCIM facilitates consistent provisioning and deprovisioning of identities. Whether you're onboarding new users or removing access for those who leave, SCIM automates these processes, ensuring they're done reliably and uniformly across the entire environment. So overall, SCIM helps streamline identity management, enhances security, and supports the dynamic needs of modern cloud-based organizations. Let's take a closer look at the history and evolution of SCIM. Starting back in 2011, SCIM was introduced with basic user and group schemas, along with a REST-full API, which laid the groundwork for automated identity management. Then, between 2016 and 2020, we saw the publication of SCIM2 as IETF RFCs 7642 to 7644, marking a significant step forward in standardization and interoperability. Moving into the period from 2021 to 2024, SCIM has gained widespread adoption, with major players like Microsoft Azure AD, Okta, and Google implementing it across their platforms. A key emerging trend is the focus on decentralized identity, which aims to give users more control over their credentials and data. Additionally, there's a strong emphasis on interoperability and the development of custom extensions to adapt to various organizational needs. Overall, these advances highlight how SCIM continues to evolve as a vital tool for automating multi-tenant identity management in today's complex digital landscape. Now, let's look at how SCIM helps automate multi-tenant identity management by focusing on its core components. First, it defines standardized endpoints and JSON schemas for exchanging user and group data. This standardization is crucial because it ensures that different systems can communicate seamlessly without custom integrations. Next, this setup enables an automated, bidirectional flow of identity information, making the management process much more efficient across diverse systems. On the slide, you'll see the API, which serves as the backbone of this communication. The API acts as the SCIM server, the system that receives and manages identity data. Then we have the service provider, or SP, which is responsible for managing user identities and initiating provisioning requests. It interacts with the SCIM server to keep user data up to date. Lastly, there's the identity provider, or IDP, which is often the source of identity information and plays a vital role in the overall lifecycle management process. Together, these components form the SCIM core, enabling organizations to streamline and automate identity workflows across multiple systems, aligning perfectly with our theme of simplified, scalable identity management. Let's take a closer look at the SCIM data flow and operations. First, when a new user needs to be created, the identity provider, or IDP, sends a POST request to the user's endpoint. This is how new user data is provisioned into the system. Next, to ensure that the user information remains consistent across systems, the IDP periodically retrieves user data with GET requests. This synchronization step is crucial for maintaining accuracy and keeping everything up to date. When there are updates to a user's attributes, the IDP uses PUT or patch requests. These methods allow for efficient modifications, whether you're updating multiple attributes at once or just a single detail. And finally, when a user no longer needs access, perhaps they've left the organization, the IDP sends a delete request to remove that user from the system, completing the deprovisioning process. All of these operations, provisioning, synchronization, updates, and deprovisioning, are fundamental to automating and managing multi-tenant identity environments with SCIM. They work together to streamline user lifecycle management and ensure data consistency across platforms. Let's take a closer look at the SCIM protocol details. One of the key features is the support for bulk operations, which are facilitated through the bulk endpoint. This allows us to batch multiple requests together, making the management process more efficient. When performing bulk operations, we use start index and count parameters to control which subset of data we're working with, enabling effective pagination. Speaking of querying data, SCIM offers robust query capabilities. For example, you can retrieve specific users with filters like get equals username ek jsmith. This makes it easy to find exactly what you need without sifting through unnecessary information. Since SCIM2, JSON has become the standardized data format, replacing XML, which has been deprecated. This shift simplifies integration, especially in modern web applications. When it comes to HTTP methods, SCIM supports a range of actions: get to retrieve data, post to create new entries, put to replace existing ones, patch for partial updates, and delete to remove entries. These methods provide a comprehensive set of tools to manage identity data effectively. Overall, these features make SCIM a powerful and flexible protocol for automating multi-tenant identity management across different systems. Now, let's take a closer look at the security considerations in SCIM. These controls are crucial because they help safeguard identity information and ensure we stay compliant with various regulations. One of the key features is tenant isolation, which makes sure that data from one tenant can't be accessed by another, preserving privacy and security. To add an extra layer of protection, SCIM uses scoped API keys, which limit what each key can do, preventing unauthorized cross-tenant access. When it comes to authorization, SCIM supports different mechanisms depending on what the client can handle. For example, static bearer tokens or OAuth flows are commonly used, giving flexibility while maintaining security. And because data is always transmitted over the internet, HTTPS is mandatory. This encrypts the data in transit, making it much harder for anyone to intercept or tamper with the information. Finally, authentication is enforced through robust mechanisms like OAuth 2 or OpenID Connect. These protocols ensure that only authorized users and systems can access the APIs, adding another essential layer of security. Overall, these controls work together to protect sensitive identity data and help organizations stay compliant in a multi-tenant environment. Now, let's take a closer look at the benefits of SCIM for identity management. First, one of the key advantages is that it scales efficiently across multiple tenants and cloud services. This means organizations can manage user identities seamlessly, even as they grow or adopt new platforms. SCIM really empowers organizations to handle identities securely and at a large scale, reducing complexity and improving consistency. Another important point is regulatory compliance. With SCIM, you get built-in support for audit trails and governance, which makes it easier to meet industry standards and legal requirements. This helps organizations stay compliant and avoid potential penalties. Security is also enhanced through the consistent enforcement of access controls. By using SCIM, organizations can ensure that security policies are uniformly applied, reducing vulnerabilities and strengthening overall security posture. On top of that, SCIM accelerates onboarding and offboarding processes. This not only improves the user experience, making it smoother and more efficient, but also ensures that access is granted or revoked promptly, which is crucial for security. Finally, by automating provisioning tasks, SCIM reduces manual effort and human errors. This leads to more reliable identity management, fewer mistakes, and less overhead for IT teams. Altogether, these benefits align perfectly with our goal of creating a secure, scalable, and efficient identity management system. Let's take a closer look at this case study on multi-tenant identity management challenges. One of the main issues we encountered was security gaps caused by slow deprovisioning. This inefficiency not only posed operational problems, but also increased compliance risks. When users aren't deprovisioned promptly, it becomes a security concern, potentially leaving access open longer than it should be. Another critical point is the lack of centralized control over user lifecycle events. Without a single, unified system managing these processes, it becomes difficult to maintain consistency and efficiency. This fragmentation can lead to mistakes and delays, impacting overall security and operational effectiveness. We also saw inconsistencies in attribute mapping and role assignments across different tenants. This inconsistency can cause confusion and errors, especially when managing multiple environments. It underscores the need for standardized processes and automation. In this particular case, a multinational consulting firm managing over 30 Microsoft 365 tenants relied heavily on manual user account management. As you can imagine, this approach led to delays, human errors, and added complexity. Automating these processes with standards like SCIM can significantly streamline operations, reduce errors, and enhance security. Overall, these challenges highlight why automating identity management across multiple tenants is so vital. It's about improving security, ensuring compliance, and making operations more efficient. In this slide, we're looking at a real-world example of how we implemented SCIM to automate the entire identity lifecycle. The main goal here was to replace manual processes, which are often time-consuming and prone to errors, with automated workflows that can operate across multiple tenants seamlessly. By doing this, we aim to improve accuracy and speed, ensuring that user information is always up to date without human intervention. The approach involved synchronizing identities through SCIM-compliant endpoints, which means we set up standardized communication channels across different tenant environments to keep data consistent. We also adopted the SCIM protocol itself as our standard for managing identity lifecycle automation. This move ensures we're using a widely recognized and supported framework, which simplifies integration and future scalability. Centralizing identity management was another key focus. By consolidating control, we can maintain greater security and consistency across all user data. And ultimately, this enables us to automate user provisioning and deprovisioning processes across multiple tenants, saving time, reducing errors, and enhancing security. This case study illustrates how SCIM can transform identity management from a manual, error-prone task into a streamlined, automated process that supports our overall goal of a more efficient and secure environment. Let's take a closer look at this architecture, which is designed to provide scalable and secure identity management across multiple tenants. One of the key strengths here is scalability. The system supports bulk operations, allowing us to efficiently manage high-volume provisioning without sacrificing performance. This is especially important when dealing with large organizations or multiple tenants, where you need to onboard or update many users at once. Security is also a core focus. Authentication is protected through industry-standard mechanisms like OAuth 2, which ensures secure access, along with static tokens for added security layers. This helps us maintain tight control over who can access and modify identity data. Another important feature is support for patch operations. This allows us to perform partial updates efficiently, meaning we don't have to resend entire user or group objects when only a small change is needed. It streamlines the update process and reduces overhead. The architecture also includes dedicated SCIM endpoints for managing different aspects like users, groups, and schemas. This organized approach makes lifecycle management and schema updates straightforward and consistent across the system. Finally, the entire solution is anchored by a centralized identity source. This acts as the authoritative system for all identity data, ensuring consistency and integrity across all tenants. Overall, this architecture aligns with the broader goal of creating a unified, scalable, and secure identity management framework that can support complex multi-tenant environments efficiently. Now, let's delve into some key lessons we've learned from implementing SCIM for multi-tenant identity management. First, investing in governance and automation is crucial. It not only helps us scale efficiently, but also ensures that provisioning remains secure and consistent as your organization grows. Next, testing with realistic data and rolling out changes in phases can significantly reduce deployment risks. This approach allows us to catch issues early and make adjustments without disrupting the entire system. Monitoring, logging, and alerting are fundamental to maintaining operational health. These tools keep us informed about system performance and help us quickly identify and resolve any issues that arise. When it comes to lifecycle automation, it's important to strike a balance. Automate where it makes sense, but maintain human oversight and ongoing validation to prevent errors and ensure the system adapts to changing needs. Schema control and versioning are also vital. They help prevent attribute conflicts and data drift, keeping our identity data consistent and reliable over time. Finally, while SCIM is a powerful protocol, it requires disciplined planning and a resilient design. Properly managing its potential and understanding its challenges will enable us to maximize its benefits effectively. In summary, these lessons highlight that successful SCIM implementation hinges on strategic investment in governance, careful planning, and maintaining a balance between automation and oversight, all essential for building a scalable, secure identity management system. Now, let's look at the first step in centralizing identity management, ensuring compliance and visibility. It's crucial to have robust audit mechanisms in place so we can track and review all identity-related activities, helping us stay compliant with regulations and quickly identify any issues. Next, we want to implement effective audit and governance tools that can trigger automated processes, like deactivation and cleanup of user accounts. This automation helps maintain security and reduces manual effort, especially when employees leave or change roles. Centralizing offboarding is also key. By clearly defining ownership, whether it's HR or IT, we can avoid conflicts and ensure that offboarding actions are handled consistently and efficiently. Defining attribute ownership is part of this process. For example, knowing who owns specific user attributes like department or contact info helps maintain data accuracy and accountability. When it comes to onboarding, automation is a game changer. Creating user records automatically upon hire or contract start saves time and reduces errors. Using a master directory with normalized attributes, like name, email, and department, ensures consistency across systems. Finally, establishing a single source of truth is fundamental. This central repository provides a trusted, authoritative record of user data, which all systems and processes can rely on. Together, these steps form a solid foundation for managing identities effectively at scale. Now, let's move on to step 2, designing the SCIM integration architecture. One of the key aspects here is providing per-tenant monitoring capabilities. This means we need to have visibility into each tenant's activity, which helps us diagnose issues and ensure everything is running smoothly. Including telemetry for diagnostics and auditing is crucial because it allows us to track usage patterns and security-relevant events, enhancing our overall oversight. Next, we want to enable effective monitoring and telemetry. This involves incorporating rate limiting to manage traffic loads, preventing overloads, and ensuring fair resource distribution. Implementing retries and fault isolation mechanisms is also vital so that transient errors don't cascade and cause wider system disruptions, keeping our system resilient. When we talk about optimizing for high throughput, using scoped API keys is essential. These keys help us ensure tenant isolation by restricting access to specific data or functions for each tenant, which enhances security and performance. Applying strict access policies further reinforces this security layer, making sure only authorized actions are permitted. Enforcing tenant isolation is a cornerstone here. Supporting authentication methods like static tokens provides a simple, reliable way to authenticate tenants, while including OAuth 2 offers a more secure and flexible option, especially for integrations requiring delegated access. Finally, deciding between centralized or tenant-specific SCIM endpoints depends largely on your control needs and scalability requirements. Centralized endpoints simplify management but might introduce bottlenecks, whereas tenant-specific endpoints give you more control and scalability at the cost of increased complexity. All these considerations are interconnected. By designing a robust architecture with these elements, we ensure that our multi-tenant identity management system is secure, scalable, and resilient. Now, moving on to step 3, implementing the core SCIM endpoints. This is where we really bring the automation to life for multi-tenant identity management. First, we'll deploy the user's endpoint, which handles all aspects of user management, creating, updating, deactivating, and reactivating users. This ensures a seamless user lifecycle management process. Next, we implement the group's endpoint. This allows us to support dynamic and nested group memberships, which is crucial for flexible and scalable group management in complex environments. We also need to expose the base and custom attribute schemas. Using the schemas endpoint, we make sure clients can discover what attributes are available, making integration much smoother. Supporting patch operations is another key part. This enables us to perform partial updates efficiently, so we're not overwriting entire records when only small changes are needed. To handle large datasets effectively, we implement filtering and pagination. This ensures our system remains scalable and responsive, even when managing thousands or millions of users and groups. All these steps are essential to creating a robust, scalable, and efficient identity management system built on SCIM. They form the foundation for automation, flexibility, and performance in multi-tenant environments. Now, let's look at the next step in our process, mapping and normalizing attributes. This is crucial for ensuring that our identity data works seamlessly across different systems and regions. First, we need to enable encoding for international use. This means supporting various character sets and formats to accommodate users worldwide. It's also important to consider localization needs, so the data can adapt to different languages and cultural preferences. Next, we should define clear ownership for each attribute. Knowing who is responsible helps maintain data quality and security. Along with ownership, we need to set appropriate read and write permissions, ensuring the right people can access or modify data as needed. Consistency is key when it comes to attribute nomming. We want to apply transformation logic uniformly so that data remains consistent across all systems. This reduces errors and simplifies management. Since we're working with SCIM, we can leverage its enterprise or custom extensions to handle non-standard fields effectively. This flexibility allows us to extend our schema without losing compatibility. Speaking of schemas, it's essential to standardize identity data across all systems involved. We should include core attributes that are common to everyone, as well as business-specific ones that meet unique organizational needs. Putting it all together, this step helps us create a unified, consistent, and flexible identity data model, a foundation for reliable multi-tenant identity management. Now, let's move on to step 5. Automate provisioning workflows, focusing on automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM. First, it's crucial to test all changes in staging environments before rolling out to production. This helps catch any issues early and ensures a smooth deployment. Automation can significantly reduce errors and speed up user access management, making the process more reliable and efficient. Next, we want to implement retry and error recovery mechanisms. These are vital for robustness because they allow the system to handle transient issues gracefully without manual intervention. Monitoring synchronization logs is also key. By regularly reviewing these logs, we can quickly identify and resolve schema mismatches or synchronization errors, keeping our identity data accurate and consistent. Using group-based assignments to control the provisioning scope is another important point. It allows us to manage who gets provisioned and to what extent, adding a layer of control and security. Finally, enabling a hands-off identity lifecycle management process is the goal. To do this effectively, we need to configure Azure AD SCIM provisioning per tenant, including setting up attribute mappings. This setup automates user provisioning and deprovisioning, reducing manual effort and ensuring a seamless experience across all tenants. All these steps are interconnected, and together they help us build a scalable, reliable, and automated identity management system aligned with our overall goals. Now, let's move on to step 6, support lifecycle events. This is a crucial part of automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM. The goal here is to handle user lifecycle events efficiently and securely. First, we need to manage user onboarding and role changes in a way that keeps everything safe and consistent. Using SCIM's active attribute and patch operations allows us to reflect these changes dynamically, ensuring that user roles and statuses are always up to date. Next, we implement soft deletes by suspending users, setting active to false, rather than deleting their data outright. This approach helps us preserve important information during user offboarding, which is key for compliance and future audits. Soft deletes also make reactivation straightforward. We can support rollbacks and reactivate users without losing their context or historical data. Speaking of audits, it's vital to log every lifecycle event. Detailed records ensure compliance and provide traceability, which is essential for security and governance. Finally, we want to synchronize these lifecycle updates with HR systems. Automating this process ensures that access rights are adjusted promptly whenever there are changes in employment status, keeping everything aligned and reducing manual effort. Altogether, supporting lifecycle events in this way helps us create a secure, compliant, and efficient identity management system that scales across multiple tenants. Now, let's move on to step 7, optimize bulk operations. When working with large user groups or frequent updates, it's best to utilize the bulk endpoint. This allows us to handle large-scale tasks more efficiently and reduces the number of individual API calls. It's especially useful for onboarding many users at once or syncing updates regularly. But to keep things running smoothly, we need to implement retry logic. This ensures that if some operations partially fail, they can be retried without disrupting the entire process, maintaining operational continuity. Another key point is monitoring batch sizes and execution times. Staying within platform limits is critical to avoid throttling or failures. Keeping an eye on these metrics helps us optimize performance and avoid bottlenecks. Lastly, grouping related operations can significantly reduce the number of API calls. By batching similar tasks together, we minimize the risk of hitting rate limits and improve overall efficiency. All these strategies combined help us make bulk operations faster, more reliable, and more scalable, crucial for effective multi-tenant identity management. Now, let's move on to step 8, ensuring fault tolerance and recovery in our SCIM implementation. First, it's crucial to support soft deletes or user suspension. This allows us to recover from accidental removals and helps us maintain data integrity. Instead of permanently deleting a user right away, we can suspend or soft delete them, giving us a safety net. Next, we should trigger automated alerts for any critical failures. This way, we can respond quickly, minimizing downtime and ensuring continuous operation. Capturing detailed error logs with diagnostic context is also vital. When issues arise, these logs help us troubleshoot effectively and resolve problems faster. Another important concept is making our requests idempotent. That means if a request is repeated, it won't cause unintended side effects. This is especially useful in cases of network retries or failures. Finally, implementing retry logic with exponential backoff enhances resilience. If transient errors occur, our system can wait progressively longer before retrying, reducing load and increasing the chances of success. All these measures together help us build a robust, fault-tolerant system that can recover gracefully from issues and keep our identity management seamless and reliable. Now, let's move on to step 9, implement schema discovery. This step is all about facilitating interoperability across different systems and even custom extensions. It's crucial because in multi-tenant environments, you often encounter varied schemas, and ensuring they work together smoothly is key. Supporting versioning and metadata allows us to track how attributes evolve over time, making it easier to manage changes without disrupting services. By enabling automatic adaptation, clients can adjust seamlessly to schema updates without requiring manual intervention, which saves time and reduces errors. One of the main benefits here is that we can provide up-to-date schema definitions, including both base and custom attributes, ensuring everyone has the latest information. And of course, the SCIM endpoint plays a critical role. It dynamically exposes identity data models to clients, helping them understand and interact with the data structures efficiently. All of these steps together make our identity management more robust, flexible, and future-proof. Now, let's move on to step 10, handle custom and legacy applications. The key here is to ensure a consistent identity lifecycle management across all environments, even when dealing with heterogeneous systems. It's crucial to maintain governance across these different systems, which means identifying potential security risks early on. From there, we can plan phased migrations or isolations for legacy systems to minimize disruptions and security gaps. Monitoring these legacy applications is also vital. We want to keep an eye on their performance and security status. To unify access control, we can leverage standards like OAuth, SAML, or API keys, ensuring seamless and secure access across various applications. Standardizing authentication models is another important step. Creating translation layers allows us to integrate non-SCIM applications into our provisioning workflows smoothly. And for that, developing adapters for non-SCIM apps is essential. These adapters help us connect legacy or custom systems with our modern identity management processes. Finally, conducting a thorough application inventory helps us classify applications into SCIM-ready, adapter-required, or manual systems, giving us a clear roadmap for managing each one effectively. All of these steps are about bringing order and security to a complex environment, making sure we can manage identities consistently and securely across all our systems. Now, let's take a closer look at how SCIM integrates within the Microsoft 365 and Azure ecosystem. This slide highlights the power of automating multi-tenant identity management using SCIM, which is especially beneficial for managed service providers managing multiple customers. The architecture is designed to handle these multi-tenant scenarios efficiently, ensuring scalability as your client base grows. Because it's compatible with Azure AD's governance tools, you can easily perform access reviews and enforce policies across all tenants, maintaining control and compliance. Security is a top priority, and supporting OAuth 2 along with static bearer tokens means you have flexible, secure authentication methods to protect your data and user identities. One of the key features here is automated user and group provisioning. This means that when new users are added or changes are made, everything happens seamlessly across multiple applications without manual intervention, saving time and reducing errors. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly known as Azure AD, plays a crucial role in this process. It offers robust support for SCIM provisioning, enabling smooth integration with third-party SaaS applications and internal systems. This makes managing identities across diverse platforms much more streamlined and efficient. Overall, this slide underscores how SCIM helps us automate and secure multi-tenant identity management within the Microsoft ecosystem, aligning with our broader goal of simplifying identity governance at scale. Let's take a closer look at the benefits of SCIM in multi-tenant environments. First, it significantly improves compliance by providing detailed audit trails and standardized provisioning processes. This makes it easier to demonstrate regulatory adherence and quickly identify any issues. Next, scalability is a major advantage. SCIM supports managed service providers and large enterprises that have complex tenant landscapes, ensuring that the system can grow with your needs without sacrificing performance or security. Automation plays a key role here, especially in onboarding and offboarding users. By automating these processes, we can accelerate user access while also reducing errors that might occur with manual procedures. Security is always a top priority, and with SCIM, you get consistent and secure access control policies. This reduces security gaps and helps maintain a strong security posture across all tenants. Finally, centralized identity lifecycle management simplifies administrative tasks. Instead of managing identities across multiple systems, everything is handled centrally, which saves time and reduces the chance of mistakes. Altogether, these benefits show how SCIM makes multi-tenant identity management more efficient, secure, and scalable, integral to our overall goal of streamlined and secure identity management. When deploying SCIM, it's crucial to handle exceptions effectively. This means setting up robust error management processes so that issues don't go unnoticed and can be resolved quickly. Alongside that, ensuring governance is key, making sure your policies and controls are in place to maintain security and compliance throughout the deployment. Balancing automation and oversight is another important aspect. While automation helps streamline identity management, regular oversight through tracking logs, alerts, and telemetry is vital. This proactive approach enables us to detect potential issues early before they escalate. Monitoring should be continuous. Never let your guard down. Using staging environments for testing is a best practice, allowing us to validate changes in a safe setting. Testing with realistic data and thorough integration checks help prevent schema drift and ensure compatibility across systems. Validating and versioning schemas regularly is essential to keep everything aligned and functional as your environment evolves. Security-wise, implementing OAuth 2, enforcing HTTPS, and utilizing scoped API keys all contribute to a strong security posture, protecting your data and access points. Supporting high throughput ensures your system remains responsive even under load, and enabling patch operations can improve efficiency by allowing partial updates rather than full replacements. Lastly, designing for scale from the start helps your deployment grow smoothly without bottlenecks, ensuring a resilient and scalable identity management solution that aligns with the overall goal of automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM. Now, let's look ahead to some of the future trends in SCIM and identity management. One exciting area is the expanding use of SCIM in identity governance and zero-trust security architectures. As organizations adopt zero-trust models, the need for dynamic, reliable identity management becomes even more critical, and SCIM is playing a key role here. We'll also see a greater emphasis on interoperability and the ability to extend schemas dynamically. This means SCIM will become even more flexible, allowing different systems to communicate seamlessly and adapt to evolving identity data requirements. Looking forward, development efforts are focusing on SCIM 2.1, aiming to improve version negotiation, testability, and metadata discovery. These enhancements will help make the protocol more robust and easier to implement across diverse environments. Another interesting trend is the exploration of decentralized identity models that incorporate standards similar to SCIM. This approach could revolutionize how we think about user control and data sovereignty. Finally, integration with AI-driven identity systems is on the rise. With AI, we can enable more adaptive provisioning, smarter anomaly detection, and overall more secure and efficient identity management processes. All of these trends highlight how SCIM is evolving to meet the complex demands of modern identity management, ensuring more secure, flexible, and scalable solutions for the future. Now, as we wrap up, let's look at the key steps moving forward to successfully implement automating multi-tenant identity management with SCIM. First, it's essential to assess your current workflows, understand what processes are in place, identify gaps, and then plan your SCIM adoption carefully, ensuring you include governance at every stage. This way, you can deploy iteratively, testing each phase thoroughly before moving on. Next, adopting SCIM with governance means leveraging adapters and standardized authentication methods to smoothly integrate both legacy and custom applications. This ensures seamless connectivity without compromising security or control. Supporting legacy and custom applications is crucial, so focus on building fault-tolerant integrations. Also, optimize bulk operations to improve efficiency. Handling large volumes of data without hiccups is vital for scalability. Centralizing identity data is another key point. By using consistent schemas and establishing clear attribute ownership, you can create a single, reliable source of truth for all identity information. This reduces errors and simplifies management. Finally, automating provisioning and lifecycle events helps minimize manual effort, reduces errors, and enhances security. Automating these processes ensures that user access is always current and accurate, supporting overall security posture. Together, these steps will help you realize the full benefits of automated, scalable, and secure identity management across your organization.